welcome back to another episode of the byeee Besties podcast. I'm your host, Alyssa.
And I'm your co-host, Samira, aka Samski.
Samski in the cut, and today we are going to get spicy, all right?
Spicy, icy.
We're talking about sex today.
I'm gonna have sex, baby.
I'm talking about you and me. Is that the right song?
Exactly, but we are answering all of your Dear Bestie questions that you left for us. We're gonna get spicy. We're gonna get real. Let's jump right into it.
All right, babes. Someone said, Dear Bestie, I'm shy about communicating my bedroom needs. What should I do? So what's your advice, sis? It's kind of giving like shy girlies for the shy girlies in the bedroom. Maybe, I don't know if it's a new relationship or maybe they're not in a relationship. What do you think?
They're shy about
communicating their bedroom wants and needs.
I feel like genuinely, if you can't be open with your partner about the bedroom needs, maybe you shouldn't be doing the deed with that partner.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I feel like sex is so intimate that it should be something that's open and that should be easy to communicate. And I understand it can be daunting, right? But I feel like if it's something that you're constantly struggling on how to open up that conversation, like, I do believe maybe.
What you trying to say, bestie? What if the girlies are nervous?
No, but you have a right to be nervous. But is that something that's happening all the time? Like with the partner that you've been with? I think that raises a kind of a red flag. Maybe not. Or maybe that's something it's a sign for you, because if that's the person that you love and that's the person you're intimate with and you can't speak to them, I think that shows a gap in your relationship.
Oh, what do I think? I feel like, let's see. I'm shy about communicating my bedroom needs. I think usually this has to do with like your own stuff, like communicating your needs in general to a partner or maybe even to like your boss, or like your.
That is not comparable. You're
okay, wait.
Fucking your partner?
No.
Excuse my language.
I'm not talking about just sexual.
Talking to your boss.
No, I'm saying first of all, if you cannot communicate your other needs, like your, not even just needs, but if you can't communicate what, like communicate to your boundaries or communicate in a job setting or communicate with your family, if you're not able to set boundaries and like speak for yourself and advocate for yourself in other realms, and it would make sense that maybe you can't do it in the bedroom either.
But what if they don't have an issue?
So if they don't have an issue in there and it's just in the bedroom, I'm like, girl, you're going to have to just tell him what you want. You're going to have to just let him know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily a gap in the relationship, but it's just like a hump to get over is how I see it.
I think my issues, if it's a constant, like you're nervous, I think it's a communication barrier that needs to be pushed. And intimacy is a big part of a relationship,
Absolutely.
Right? So it's like if you're only doing his style in the bedroom and you're not being pleased a certain way, like that does become an issue, especially if you're not able to communicate that something needs to change.
Yeah.
So then eventually you wouldn't be happy in the relationship, right?
My advice for the girlies here is men like to please women, and men play for points. Like men, no, they do.
It's a game for them.
Yes, men play for points. They want to provide for you. They want to protect you. They want to take care of you. They want you to be happy.
But not all men, though, sis. There is men that just do want to be pleased.
I know, but if that's what he's like, then that shouldn't be your man. Like I guess real men, in my opinion.
Yikes.
For real. I feel like a real man naturally wants that. Like, his woman being happy is going to make him happy. Of course, there's going to be men out there that are selfish, that only care about themselves, what they get in the bedroom and outside of the bedroom. And if you feel like that's your situation, sis, then maybe you need to find a new man.
Time to maybe
you need to find a new man. Because that's not good for you anyway. If you don't care even if it's in the bedroom and he only wants what he wants and you try to communicate it to him or whatever and he doesn't care, he's not changing anything, then that's not the man for you, in my opinion. Because that's going to show up in every other category of y'all's relationship.
So if she's only doing Haktu.
Doing what?
Yo, you haven't heard about the Haktu, girl?
What the fuck is Haktu?
Ooh, Lord. Alyssa's not. She's not in with the modern people, clearly.
What's that?
The Haktu, girl?
What is that? You gonna show me? Pull it up.
I'm gonna have to pull it up because, girl, you gotta get in with the TikTok girlies.
Tell me what it is. What you gonna show me? It's like I gotta show you, not tell you, kind of thing.
No, it's impossible.
Oh,
girl.
uh-oh.
Oh my goodness! 1 second, guys.
What is this?
1 second. Oh, 1 second, guys. Give me a second.
Wait. The loogie. It's the loogie.
It's the Haktu. Logan Paul gave her a podcast. She blew up for this. Okay.
Chile. I mean,
if he's only wanting the Haktu and he not trying to do his deed, what do you got to tell him?
There. You got to get out of there.
So the advice for the girlies, generally, I think just to highlight what Liz said here, is you got to advocate for yourself, right? If you are in a relationship that the person's not giving you the space to open up about your needs, then that's an issue. And if you did try to advocate for yourself and they are not being receptive, then there's an issue there, babes.
Absolutely, babes. You deserve all your needs to be met. And at least try to meet them. We could practice, honey.
And if you have any more help with that, if you need any more help, DM us.
DM us.
We'll help you. We'll help you.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next question. Dear besties, I need tips on keeping the spark alive and making intimacy exciting. From new date ideas to exploring connection in unique ways.
How to keep the spark alive. I feel like there's the honeymoon phase, which is just always like fun. But keeping the spark alive, I would suggest what I heard Adrian say about the 777 rule. Yeah, the cheetah girl, Adrian. 777. I believe it's every 7 days there's some kind of date. It could be like cooking in the kitchen, movie night, something to keep the connection alive every week that you're connecting with your partner. And then I believe every 7 weeks they make sure like they go out and they do something. And then every 7 months it's a trip. And I feel like this is really based in connection because as an adult, especially if you guys have kids, you're always moving and grooving. You have work, you have this project, that project. You know, you're balancing a million things. So it's really important to find time to come back and connect. And it's not just when you guys go to bed at night. You know, it's like taking a little extra time to make sure you're giving a longer kiss and you're giving, you know, you're being a little bit more mindful and giving that attention that your relationship deserves.
Yeah. I mean, to kind of echo that, I don't necessarily think it has to be 7-7.
Yeah.
It's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah, that's a rule of thumb.
I agree. I think it's a good rule of thumb, but I think you can kind of also, you can feel when things are a little bit off. Like you can feel like, okay, it's been a minute since it's been me and my man, like just us two, and that you need to go and just spend quality time together. And it doesn't need to be anything crazy. Like, girl, you could go stop at, you know, I'm from Florida, so Publix or wherever people get sandwiches now, Subway, whatever. And you could put a blanket somewhere and you can go have a picnic. Like, it does not need to be anything crazy. I think it's just the intimate moments that you can spend time together. Sometimes, like she said, we're super busy and it could be easy to get lost in the sauce per se. Like life is not going to stop. And when you're with your person and you are living together, it just feels like it could easily turn into like a roommate type situation if you don't distinguish like, okay, this is my partner, right? Like this is my romantic partner. We're not sitting here.
We're not roommates, honey.
Yeah, we're not.
You my man. You're my hubby. We go together.
Exactly. It's important to have that. So I think in order to really keep the spark alive and creating intimacy, it's about feeling each other and being also communicating, being open about that too. Because let's say your man's grinding, maybe he's trying to save for a house or he's trying to, you know, matches goals, he won't even realize, like, and not to, like, it's not intentionally that he's doing that. He's just working hard. But maybe you could just be like, you know, hey, babe, like, let's go out and do a picnic. I know it's cold here, you know, for my New Englanders and up Northerners, but I'm trying to think what are other fun things you guys can do that are like on the low. You don't need to do something extremely expensive to have a good time. I
feel like if the bedroom is feeling dry, for lack of a better term, sometimes getting out of the bedroom can help because it's just like
not a dry bedroom.
Can't relate. Anyways, if the bedroom is feeling dry, you know, sometimes getting out of the bedroom, I feel like can help. Like I said, we're talking sex and intimacy, bestie. Get comfortable. The baddie besties are sitting down with their popcorn and the tea, and they're ready to take notes. They need help. Girl,
I'm not worried about the bedroom. I got, you know.
That's what I said.
Me and the bedroom, we're one.
That's what I said. The water's in the bedroom. We're not worried about
All right, next. All right,
I didn't finish answering. Long story short, I'm just saying, get out the bedroom, connect, find a date night, and then, you know, once you're having fun and you bring back that friendship vibe with the person, and you're like, you know, not feeling like, oh, whatever, you know, then I feel like it helps with, you know, being inside together too.
Yeah, I can 100% agree with that, but yeah, y'all gotta love on each other, man. Like, again, I spoke about this last episode. That life is also short. No, life is short. You know, enjoy your person, okay? Enjoy them.
Period.
So we're gonna discuss where to draw the next question is, dear besties, where do I draw the line between openness and keeping certain things private, both in relationships and with close friends? So I think this person is I'm just thinking of an idea. Maybe her man sent her a dick pic, or she found her man watching porn and she feels some type of way. And maybe she's like, hey, should she tell her friend, or should that just be discussed privately with her man? Yeah. Like, how do you think she should go about it?
I feel like that's kind of a case-by-case basis, and it depends on the friendships, too. I think there's certain things that I would tell my friend if I felt like I really needed to seek counsel, or, you know, but from someone I genuinely trust and someone whose advice I trust. Because some of y'all asking for advice from women you should not be taking advice from. I'm just put that out there, okay? Because you're going to mess up your whole relationship listening to your bestie who got terrible advice and unsuccessful relationships. I'm just going to put that out there.
That's what I'm saying. People will ask advice to people that they're single. They, you know, have never been in a relationship or toxic relationship. Babes, if you don't want to be in their shoes, do not ask advice and seek counsel from people when they don't got their own life together.
Y'all gotta stop that. Stop that. Don't be asking advice from those kind of girls, all right? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but just be mindful, all right?
Especially too, you don't know if they have some underlying, because some people are not your friends.
That part.
Some people can have some underlying jealousy. They see you're in a happy relationship, and then finally something happened that maybe is putting your relationship in shaky waters, that they've been preying on your downfall. They've been waiting for your relationship to go down, and they will give you bad advice so you can break up with your man and you be single right with them so you could be boo-boo crying. And no, baby girl.
Nope.
You got to be careful, because not everyone is your friend.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely.
And they don't want to see you happy.
Yeah, that's the truth of the matter. You know, jealousy is out there with the girls. Not everyone is like that. So trust your intuition, but don't be telling everybody the business with you and your man. All right. Don't be telling mom and dad about all your business either.
Ooh, why? You know why they shouldn't tell their mom and dad?
Yeah.
Because especially if it's something that like really pisses you off and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna break up with him. My good sis, if you're going to stay with your man, do not tell your mama, because she's going to hate him and it's going to be awkward. It's going to be awkward to go back to your man. So if you feel like there's an issue between you and your man, go tell that to your bestie, because your mama, she's not going to accept in the same way, because of course she wants to protect her child. She wants to love. She wants you to be happy. And if she knows that this man gave you 1 ounce of hurt, she's going to say, let him go. Let him go.
You can be like, but I'm in love. I changed my mind. We made up. You know, family is not the best at, like, they don't have the rose-colored glasses. They just know what happened, and it's hard for them to unsee it. Yeah. So if you feel like you know, like she said, you're not going to be over and done with it. You might get over it. Don't share it. Just talk to a bestie you can trust, or get a fucking journal. If you don't got nobody and you got to spill the tea, write it in a journal, you know?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I mean, this is Baddie Besties. I'm not afraid to tell my good sis how I feel, what's going on. So obviously we have that relationship and we've established that. So, and it's so crazy because I posted something today, is get a friend or get a bestie that essentially, like, they're going to celebrate and they're going to love you. And you can see that genuineness in them. They don't have no jealousy, no hate, no, like, preying on your downfall vibes. Yeah. Like, if you know that person is genuinely loves you and is loving on you, it's okay to share that. I think that's the beauty of friendships. And, you know, we are the Baddie Besties after all. Like, don't be, you know, use.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I will say there are certain things that can be kept between you and your man as well. Not everything you have to share with your friends either. But that's a case-by-case basis, right? Yeah. Like, I'm not going to tell Samira every last thing, but trust and believe I'm telling her some, because sometimes I need some advice. I need to talk to her. I need to vent, and it helps me just make my way through it, right?
I'm also a Libra. I feel like I'm a good person because I'm not going to just say, like, I'm going to keep it a stack. I'm not going to just say you right. Like, if I feel like that other person, I can kind of see their point of view. I have that balance where I'm like, okay, and for my Libras out there, like, we can see both sides. So I'm not going to sit in my friend's face and lie to her and be like, yeah, you were right, leave your man. Like, at the end of the day, sis, if you were wrong, and you got to take accountability, period.
Or the other side. If it's like, nah,
he's got to do better.
You need to set boundaries, or you need to whatever, like, she's going to let me know. So I think, you know, some things, like we said, long story short, some things between you and your man, you know, your own discretion. Have a bestie that you know you can trust. And stop telling your family all the things, because they don't need to know it.
Your business is your business, period. And not everyone needs to be in your business.
Period.
With that being said, we're going to move forward into Mr. Diddy. Some people had some questions about Diddy because Diddy is in the headlines, baby. Diddy is locked up, baby. Diddy was Diddying. Diddy. Okay, no Diddy.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party. And the girlies, they really want to know. They want to know, like, what do you think about the situation? And just where do you feel like, you know, the family should be involved?
I don't think the family should really be getting any backlash. I feel like they're going to get backlash anyways, because that's the internet and that's social media and that's people. But if you don't know the family personally, you shouldn't be trolling and, like, saying stuff, especially commenting on his family stuff. Like, I would just let them be and just respect it, because if anything, I'm sure they're going through a really hard time trying to figure out what to do with this whole situation.
Some will argue. Okay. Obviously, this is not my point of view, but some will argue that you chose this life, and that essentially allows your family to be scrutinized as well.
I don't agree. I don't think that's fair, because if one of my family members, you know, chose a certain life, it doesn't even matter what it is. If my family member becomes the president of the United States and now everyone knows who I am, like, it is what it is. People are going to still come and find me and come my way, but do I deserve it because, like, I signed up for it too? I wouldn't agree.
I guess their point of view is, at least when you talk about the presidency, so that kind of sheds a light, right? Like, if a president, right, raises a certain person, like, I know, I don't even want to get in Joe Biden in that situation, but I know one of the arguments is that one had, like, if they're, let's say, a smoker, if they're this, like, that essentially is a way of their parenting style, and now they're running a country. You don't think that would, because imagine, Diddy is someone of influence, and he raised these kids. So I think maybe people, this is just a perception, not my point of view, but maybe people are thinking, okay, they have been influenced by this their whole life. Maybe they're going to be some sort of, like, they'll continue that, or they're kind of like, they're collateral damage in the situation, but they're also a product of the situation that can also continue the horrible things that are accused and obviously alleged.
Yeah, I think that's valid. I think anything can happen, but there's no accurate way to predict the future. We don't know any of these people personally to say, oh, his sons were part of it. His sons this and that. His sons are going to, you know, continue this legacy and continue doing these parties or whatever. Like, we're still waiting to see what happens with everything, you know? Yeah. So I feel like I can see both sides. I could see how both sides could potentially be right, but I don't think it's anybody's place fully to make that prediction or to like troll about it. You know, obviously I have my thoughts on whether I feel like Diddy did, you know, the accusations that are being made upon him. And
we're not going to even get
we're not going to get into that. But regardless, I feel like that should be dealt on its own. And hey, we'll see what happens, right?
Personally, how I feel, Diddy's kids, you know, 3 of them recently lost their mom, Kim Porter, recently. And for me, you know, it's very sad to see what the kids are going through, because now to have your dad locked up and essentially lose 2 parents in a matter of like 3 to 4 years, I think that's devastating. Despite what he did, you can't not think about how these kids' lives are going to be altered forever. They have no parents. Like, despite, like, obviously the action of what their parent did is disgusting, or the claims and allegations are terrible and disgusting, and I would never wish that on any woman, but I can't take away the fact that these girls are going to be raised without a father, and now they have no mother. So I think for me, I have empathy, and I can take myself out of the situation and really view, okay, hey, we got to sympathize with the situation, especially for the kids. People are so quick to go on the internet and just say harsh things to not really realize how the family is being impacted. And I think that's just in general, when you have somebody get locked up, that it's not only the person that's going through it, but the family is collateral damage of the situation. So yes, he's Diddy, but his family doesn't deserve that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I agree fully. Yeah. You know, whatever happens in terms of, you know, innocent to proven guilty and all of the, you know, information that's coming out and the things that we have seen. But I think a parent is a parent regardless, and love is still love regardless. Like, they still are going to love their father no matter what. The love doesn't just go away because certain things have happened or whatever. So, like you said, just empathizing with the family and the friends of the people that love him. I don't think they deserve any of the backlash or the trolls, internet trolls. Like, I wish I could, you know, make that not be a thing on social media, but unfortunately that's not the case. I feel like I have to do my best to respect everybody and respect everyone's opinions, because you have a right to your opinion and your views. However, in one of our previous episodes, we had a quick conversation where we talked about people who aren't listening, and it's like kind of things go in one ear and out the other. And if I know that I'm dealing with someone who already has their mind made up, I'm not going to engage in conversation personally. I don't think there's a way.
Save your peace. I think that's a different conversation.
Yeah, because if someone, a way around that.
If someone doesn't have a level of understanding, I think for you to have your peace, baby girl, for you to have your peace is be okay to be misunderstood. And I think I'm starting to learn that, because I will argue to the death of me, but I think it's important to be okay with, it's okay if they don't understand you, and you can save your breath and save your energy by being okay with your feelings and your opinions, and they can sit there and have their opinions.
Yeah. Everyone has a right to their own opinion, right? And this is politics. Like, politics are debates. Like, you debate in politics, right? Presidential debates and whatnot. So if you have people, friends, or maybe if your family, you can't talk to them or they don't get it, but you have friends that maybe have similar views or opposite views, but you can have a respectful conversation and, like, still leave, you know, understanding each other from a cordial place. I feel like have the debates with the people that you feel like are able to engage in those conversations, and then those who can't, like we said, save your peace, and it is what it is. That's how I think. You can't force what I can't force it.
Yeah, my answer, I think, is being okay to be misunderstood, and you don't have to over-explain yourself. If the person doesn't want to understand it, you just have to let them be where they're at, and you're going to be way more at peace, because like I said, I am victim and I am the problem of sitting here arguing with people, and I have learned as I have aged that people are not going to think the way that I do. Hashtag free Palestine. I'm going to say that to the death of me. But some people are not going to agree with that. and they'll unfollow you, or they won't like you and they won't be your friend, and they weren't your friend anyways. I think it's, at least for me, when it comes to certain politics or certain views, for me, it's very black and white. And I think that's why I'll argue, like, yes, you have your opinion, but I'm like, okay, how are you okay with like letting a woman die if they have an ectopic pregnancy and they're not able to have that abortion? Like, you're okay with literally letting that woman bleed to death. And for me, I feel like that's black and white. Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, like, I feel like that tells me a lot about you, and that's all I need to know.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I think it kind of depends on who you're speaking with, though, because if it's a family member, sometimes you can't erase the family member. You know, like, they're still going to be a part of your life, whether you like them or you don't. So for me, I'll save my peace if it's someone I know I'm not going to remove from my life. I'd rather just not engage in politics with you, and I already know where you stand on it, but I still love you. I love you unconditionally. I'm going to love you anyways. It doesn't matter. But if it's like a friend or even a partner, and I'm like, you really believe that, you stand on that,
that's an issue. I think a partner, because that's a choice. You choose to be with that person.
Or even a friend.
But it's kind of tough with me with the family, because I feel like for me, I'm not necessarily argue, but I'm going to educate you to the death of you until I change your mind. Because, baby, you're not going to just, a lot of times people have these views, and it's because they're not educated. Mm-hmm. If you simply open up a book, or, you know, with a quick Google search, baby, nowadays you can get things at a quick, right? Speed of light. There's no reason for you not to be educated. So I'm going to educate you till your answer changes.
Yeah, that's where Samira and I differ, though, besties. Samira is definitely a debate person, and I'm like I'll literally just isolate you. I'll just no, I'm good. I'll just remove myself.
That's a great description of us. You know, wearing red and black. It's pretty much
fire, and I'm just like
cool.
Yeah, I'm like coal.
All right, besties, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Dear Besties. Please continue your questions, and of course, you know we may stir the pot.
It's gonna get hot,
but try.
You just hit the jackpot. Okay. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, follow, all that good stuff.
Make sure you also leave comments. This is a way we can continue this series of Dear Besties. It's the only way for us to continue it. So please add your comments. And add your juicy ones. We will talk about sex. Yes, sex. We'll talk about it all. But we love you guys.
Love you.